President Donald Trump addressed both chambers of Congress in an expansive speech that lasted more than 90 minutes as he took a victory lap for his accomplishments over the past 45 days. So what's his vision for the future? I'm Veronica Dudo. Let's find out.
This is In America Today from the Ticker News Studios in New York City.
President Donald Trump's speech before a joint session of Congress received overwhelming approval from viewers, with the CBS News survey showing 76% of those watching supported his message. In his address, President Trump highlighted his administration's accomplishments since his second inauguration, while taking aim at former President Joe Biden and congressional Democrats. He emphasized key issues such as border security, transgender policies in sports, and government efficiency, while laying the groundwork for a major tax and spending bill. With Democrats struggling to unite behind a clear message, President Trump's speech signals the administration's aggressive approach in shaping America's legislative agenda. Let's take a listen.
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
For more, I'm joined by Keith Nahigian, the president of Nahigian Strategies. Welcome to the show, Keith.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So it was one of the longest speeches in history, with many saying it was President Trump's best. What's your take on it?
Well, these speeches normally are twice as viewed as the inauguration. Inauguration, as you know, takes place at noon on this year a holiday Monday. So that normally gets around 25 to 30 million. This is probably up in the final numbers haven't come out, but probably in the 50 million person range, and an incredible opportunity to talk directly to people about what he's planning on doing and what he's already done. So from that standpoint, and then obviously the ripple effect of cutting and pasting and a lot of different things on the internet afterwards, you're not going to have those types of opportunities more than a couple of times during your presidency. And starting off your presidency, that's probably the most important speech he gave in terms of laying out his vision, what he's already done, and really bringing the American public along. But the next hard step, he's been leading with executive power. Now he has to move it to legislative. That's the next thing over the next 60 days through reconciliation. You're going to see a lot of horse trading to push things through. That'll be his true legacy, not necessarily the first 40 or 50 days.
The CBS News survey shows strong approval for Trump's speech. What do you think resonated most with viewers?
I think there's been a lot of frustration over the last couple of years of an elderly president that wasn't really engaging, wasn't in public, wasn't doing big things. While he gave an okay speech every once in a while, I think it was refreshing to see someone that's working every day to solve the public's problems. I think that's kind of the tone difference. But the biggest thing I saw was a real divide in the chamber. I mean, it's getting worse and worse that for some reason, I've seen it when Republicans were kind of not fans of Obama or Clinton, but they were very respectful and they cheered when there was things that were pro-American. For some reason, we've gone over the Rubicon to making the statement of not supporting when there's really important things to talk about. On your screen is, you know, a cancer survivor, and people are sitting on their hands. I think they had this was kind of the last off-ramp of normalcy for the Democrats, and I think they missed their exit. I think they're going to have a hard time reconnecting if they're going to become relevant going forward. Normally, after an election, you recalibrate, you reassess what worked and what didn't. And I think I've just seen nothing but double down going forward, and their numbers are really kind of bleeding out. And there's been a realignment of their core constituents swinging over onto the Republican side, whether it's union workers, African American, women. The MAHA movement is very large and bipartisan, and I think they've missed that opportunity to plug into that. So I just think the one side of the country is a little bit lost in terms of that chamber reaction.
Now, of course, we saw a lot of members from the Democratic side talking about not attending, walking out, saying they want to resist. Of course, they had those paddles. And as you mentioned, kind of just sitting on their hands for a lot of the speech, even when some of the guests really had amazing, inspirational stories as just everyday Americans. What do you think happens moving forward? It really seems like the Democrats are without any type of leadership or a clear view moving forward.
I think they're stuck. I think their leaders are over 80 years old, and they can't readjust, and I think they're in trouble. They really, I mean, bringing props to the House floor is just going to turn into an internet meme, and I think the president set them up by saying they won't applaud no matter what I say, because obviously he knew the rest of the speech were amazing stories of American success and inspiration, even announcing in real time that he has just captured and got the transfer from Pakistan of the terrorists that organized the killing of 13 service members in the Afghanistan pullout. To not react to that, I think they needed to call an audible and suddenly say, we may not be applauding policies, but we're going to applaud Americans. And I think they made a critical error. Those all can be used as ads against them as being un-American. This should be an American celebration, this particular speech. We have policy differences, but we shouldn't have American differences. And I think they missed the boat. And it's hard to get credibility back, but it's going to be, I think they're getting really damaged on the internet with kind of replays of their inaction on critical moments.
So as you mentioned, a lot of great stories about Americans and also everything from border security to that foreign policy. But the president also touted the Department of Government Efficiency. You're on the ground in Washington, D.C. What impact is it having so far?
Well, in the corporate world, there's downsizing all the time. There's reassessing how technology can be used, efficiency going across, but the government seems to not have been able to do that. Since COVID, the national budget has gone from, the national federal government has gone from $4 trillion to $6 trillion, and really nothing to show for it. So technology, all sorts of things are happening. I think they're due for a long overdue downsizing. So some of it seems quick and swift, but I think you have to reassess what is really the government doing and why should it be $6 trillion. They're putting $1 trillion on the debt every 100 days. It's unsustainable. That's how countries and groups fall. So I think it's just natural to react this way when people see things that are being cut, but they're way outside their credit card limit.
Looking ahead, what challenges or opposition could President Trump face in advancing his legislative agenda through Congress?
I think this is really important to lead on. Obviously, with reconciliation, you just need 50 votes or 51 votes to get things through in the Senate, which is helpful. I think just keeping everybody together on his side is going to be the biggest challenge. When it's such a slim majority, anybody can be an outlier and get a lot of attention. So the more they can corral that type of thing and get it through. But that's his most important thing. These tax cuts and some of this regulatory reform and things, making them permanent is really important. And then obviously the budget battle. What is the budget process? They're coming up on the middle of the month. One of the CRs runs out. Will they be able to negotiate that going forward? But there's a lot of problems that because of COVID and other things have been delayed. No one has made any hard decisions here in Washington. And I think we're just going to go through a series of very hard decisions, turning this ship around to make our country sustainable and healthy going forward in terms of its economics going forward. And they have to do it quickly.
Keith Nahigian of Nahigian Strategies, thank you so much for your time today.
Great seeing you.
This is Ticker. We'll be right back.